There he
How's it going?
is.
How you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Can you hear me fine? Yeah.
Yeah, mate. I can hear you, no bother.
I think these headphones have seen better days, to be honest with you. They've been in washing machines and all the rest of it, so I'm glad they're still working.
I know. Well, I'm sporting my new Christmas present, so
All right.
I was there with you. I was using a pair of old Tesco earphones for a long time.
Yeah, that's what I rely on most of the time as well. I have like a set of skull candies that I broke the charger not long ago, and it's like a discontinued charger for it, so I don't know where to get it, which is funny. But
Uh,
yeah, man. So how are you? You good?
yeah, I'm good, mate. It's good. Was in Bali over Christmas and New Year, so
Oh, that was jealous.
recharged the batteries and had a good little break.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to be back. Um, get things going. It's been a busy start to the year already. So, and then I turned 30 at the weekend. So,
Yeah. Oh.
getting on, getting
we're
old.
both we're both getting that kind of feeling of like getting to that point now that we just feel like it's just creeping up on us. The years are getting shorter now as well.
Mate, yeah, they are. They've been creeping up for a long time, but that 30's hitting a bit harder than usual, you know.
Can
It's
imagine, mate. Can imagine.
yeah, it's a tough one to
Nah,
take.
I'm seeing I'm seeing obviously you're kind of working hard on certain projects now. I guess I wasn't going to start with that, but I think it would be a good way to start off things. So the Blade for Bronze is a thing that you're working on at the moment. So do you want to just kind of give us an idea what that's about?
Yeah. So Bleed for Bronze kind of came around tail end of last year. We crossed paths with Tyler Jolly, who's a boxer based here in Glasgow.
I see that he's
And
commented there now. Actually, there you go.
uh, there he goes. There he is. There's the shout out to Tyler. Um, and yeah, kind of dived into his story. And Tyler won bronze at the Commonwealth Games. During the Commonwealth Games, managed to secure the fastest knockout in Commonwealth history. And he's now 3-0 as a professional and under the tutelage of Ricky Burns, who's probably the most famous Scottish
Yeah,
boxer ever.
yeah.
So yeah, so there was a lot to unpack there. So kind of with my history in sport, yeah, it's kind of been good to be able to be on the other side of other athletes and be able to tell kind of other people's story, you know.
I know that's cool, man. No, it was an interesting concept, and obviously from what you shared, the knockout itself was pretty nasty. I must admit,
Yeah,
the guy
no, it was. Yeah.
he definitely
Oh,
saw better days, that's for sure. But it was,
I know. I wouldn't
I'm,
want to get hit with one.
yeah, I'm actually, I'm a big boxing fan myself, so it was quite an interesting concept and stuff.
Yeah,
I say I'm a big boxing fan. My knowledge isn't 100%, but I like to watch, the big title fights and stuff,
yeah.
and like big
A
pay per
bit,
view events and stuff.
yeah. A big game Charlie, as they call
Aye,
them.
but we part timer, so that's what I
Yeah,
say as well.
yeah,
But no, I do. I've always actually tried to get into it myself as well. But you see, like when it comes to playing golf and playing like and
yeah.
doing filmmaking and trying to be a boxer, trying to be this, it's not ideal.
No,
So
there's only so many
I
you can do.
know for sure. But yeah, man. So regards to obviously Blade for Bronze, like what was your role on it again? Just
So I directed, and I was
nice.
also DP on it as well. So my brother, who has actually wrote a few films himself, came on board and helped iron out the concept, and then had a couple. I had a grip on it and also an AC as well, which was really handy on the particular day. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was a long time planning. The concept actually came around when I was living in Australia, so we were trying to kind of iron out details whilst dealing with time zones, and I wasn't in the country at the time when we decided to go ahead with it, so there was a lot of logistics that were quite hard to iron out. But yeah, and then there's also a bit at the start of the doc where we're dealing with a lot of stuff that the BBC shot during the
Mm,
Commonwealth Games. So you're trying to get license for the footage and stuff like that. So there was a lot of kind of hoops to jump through, but we managed to
Yeah.
finally get it released, which was good.
You realise that yourself, don't you? Like when it comes to the film industry, like when it comes to like all the background paperwork and like kind of getting copyrights and stuff, it's such a headache, isn't it? Like,
Oh, it's mental.
it's like just nothing is actually easy anymore to just go out and shoot something.
No,
I mean,
not at all. If anything, the shooting day is actually the easiest part,
yeah, yeah,
and just trying to get everything, all your ducks in a row for the day, and then afterwards trying to make sure you get everything. It was. I mean, we kind of shot that over maybe 3 days, 3 or 4 days. And Tyler was great and allowed us total access for what he was doing. And then Ricky was really gracious as well. Ricky's got his own gym over in Eurocentral, so that's where we filmed it all. And he was really hospitable and, gave us plenty of access and stuff. So that was really handy. That taking care of the location for a majority of it kind of, took a lot of the weight off.
Funnily enough, that's cool. I mean, I was at that's where I work, Eurocentral. I'm at Amazon there, so like wouldn't have known that. Aye, but no, that's class, man. I mean, have you got a release date for it at all, or have you released it? Or
Yeah, so it's released. So it was released last week. It's on YouTube and Vimeo as well. People can go ahead and I actually released it on my Instagram a couple of days ago, so they can also go and view it there.
Awesome.
So.
Well, I'll give it a watch tonight then.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
sure.
Aye, no problem at all. Yeah, man. Nah, like regards to other projects, obviously we're working on Gaff at the moment. I've just been telling people there. But is there any other projects or any other plans that you've got coming up at the moment?
Yeah, so we've actually got quite a lot in the pipeline at the moment. I started kind of my own company the beginning of the year there. I moved a little bit of context. I moved back from Australia in October there, and I was working for a video production company over in Australia. And when I came back, I done a couple of little bits and bobs the tail end of the year, but I kind of realized that there was a few kind of projects that I had lined up that it would be better if I was able to kind of have total control over them. So we finished Bleed for Bronze. We're working with a few athletes doing kind of, it seems to be a lot of documentary work going forward. We're doing a piece for Scott Gibson, who's on the Olympic swimming team.
All right,
and then we're also starting a doc series with Ironman that'll be filmed over the next 6 months. That'll take us to Girona and also Austria. So that'll probably be, it's about 6 months work of work. So that's going to be a big one at the end of the year. So
awesome. So you're keeping busy for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's been good. It's been a lot of support and a lot of hard work, and it's starting to kind of pay off now, which is good.
For sure. Well, I know for obviously our experience working on Gaff and stuff, just how hard of a worker you are, and like how how effective you are with like certain things, and like see, I don't just really consider you as a gaffer. I feel like you're much more than that when it comes to Gaff as well, because like you put some really good input visually as well as that, and like it. It's good that you're doing your own thing as well, because I think it'd be interesting to see maybe even a feature or short coming on the down the pipeline as well, and see what you're made of, basically.
Yeah, I mean that is the goal one day. Kind of getting the feet wet at the moment. And I would love to, I scribble down a few things every now and again. I would love to one day down the line do some kind of shorter feature. Obviously, like you said, working on Gaff for yourself and kind of seeing these other people who, are kind of leading the way and doing their own independent thing is, really inspiring.
Yeah, no, for sure. And when it comes to Gaff, I feel like obviously you're coming to the Jacob Tower premiere, and that's obviously, it was my first kind of foot on the door when it comes to it. But I feel like this time I learned a lot from Jacob Tyler. You know, like that was my first ever feature film. It was actually my first film in general, because for some reason I just loved the idea of like, now let's make a full blown movie, and then just kind of feeling like, okay. But then I realized how hard it was, and that's why with Gaff, I was like, right, we need a gaffer, we need an AD, we need, we
Yeah.
need this full blown crew that, you can't just scramble a few people together and learn them on the day. That's why we had some difficulties of like how long to shoot it over a 2.5 year span. But for Gaff, I have so much faith in it, and like I feel like I think we'll all be proud of what we've been working on, basically, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we've only touched on the surface of it kind of prior to Christmas, and it's definitely a great team we've got going over there. And there is something to be said for kind of just getting out and doing it like you did with Jacob Tyler, and not kind of overthinking the crew and overthinking the story and just going ahead and getting it done. But it's nice also now on the flip side to, take your time and do it properly and kind of see, the difference between the two at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. And like you can already tell a difference in the fact that we're actually already halfway through Gaff is just crazy. Like we're halfway through. We've only 6 days left after this, but because of due to funding and stuff, we're just waiting until we can try and get ourselves back balanced with the books and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But with I feel like when that comes out and we distribute it properly this time as well, I have a good feeling about it. I really do. And obviously having someone like you and the team and stuff, it's I feel like it's destined to do well for sure. But
No, it will.
aye.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really looking forward to also seeing the premiere of Jacob Tyler as well, because obviously I wasn't a part of that, so
Yeah.
I'm going in completely blind into that one. So
it's the thing is, like,
to that.
I'm proud of it. I must admit, like, I'm proud of like what we've done in a very. I'm not going to say it was messy, because like if we're being realistic, it was a wee bit, but I'm very proud of what we managed to put together, and I think I'll shock a few people with the fact that it's like, okay, right, now he's got somewhere he's going with this, and the fact that it cost us 5K to make. You know what I mean? So, like probably it's more like around the under 10K kind of bracket. So, and the fact that we managed to make a 2 hour and 23 minute film out of that is quite crazy. So,
it's pretty unheard of, to be honest.
So there's few things that if I was to, we've not had the best of luck with the film either, because we lost obviously a hard disk. So we've got the complete film as it is now. If it was in my power, I would just maybe cut some frames out and maybe cut some just tiny bits that just maybe didn't make too much sense at the time, but it's I'm still proud of it regardless. And I can imagine you just being in the audience, just kind of sitting there, when you're smirking. I'm glad that I'm not going to be looking behind to see your smirking face.
I might just sit right in front of you and give you a few of these.
Honestly, if people don't know, me and Chris, honestly, on the set of Gaff, are honestly two of the most childish people when it comes to working with each other.
Yeah.
Like, yes, like maybe we have 5 minutes of just pure laughter, and then we get back to serious work. But yeah, like when I see Chris, my head's gone basically. Like,
well, to be fair, you're the one that's meant to be leading by example. So as soon as you go, I've got nothing holding me back at that point in time.
It gives you a bit of it gives you a bit of comfort knowing that
Yeah, exactly.
If the director's doing it, then sure hell I'll do it.
Yeah, exactly. The boss is doing it, so I'm free to disrupt.
I mind the day when we were at Ryan's house, and I couldn't stop laughing. You were at the side of me, and and Ryan, obviously, we're trying to get through this scene when they slam the door and he's just saying pricks basically. But
Yeah.
I could hear the tiniest bit of like uh, kind of grunt from you, and then I laughed completely during the shot, and then Heather just slaps me in the back of my back, saying, "For fuck's sake!" That was
I
bad,
know.
man. That was
I
terrible.
know. See, I give it a little smirk, but you go uncontrollable for about 3 minutes. So
I know for
it's
sure. It's not great for a director, is it? Like, I mean,
nah, but
when I have to be, I can, you know.
well, I put it down to we get our work done quickly, and then we're hanging around waiting for other people.
Yeah,
So
well, that's true. That's
that's what
true.
it is. It's
It's always
always
the
that, you know.
it's
If
always the
everyone
soundie's
would
fault.
if everyone would hurry up, we wouldn't have time to have a laugh and a joke.
For sure, man. It's always when we're doing the wild tracks.
Yeah, the wild
Without
track's a nightmare.
fail. I mean,
But it was the
if it was
same.
that serious, we would just go in the car.
Yeah, it's like when you're at school though, and the teacher tells you not to laugh, and it just sets you off,
So,
you know.
so it's a reverse psychology.
It is when Soundy turns around and says, "Right, silence in the room." That's all
Yeah.
bets are off at that point in time.
Well, the funny thing is Daniel Senior at the time. He was quite funny for this because he realised he was like it was quite funny that it was says right guys if we can do this. You know, but we wrapped and we can go up the road basically. But for some reason, that just made us laugh even harder. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh god, man.
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
It's no, it is. It's definitely a good set to work on though. It's had its moments for sure.
Yeah. Nah, man. I think, and honestly, on behalf of like the full Apple Tree team itself, yeah, and you've met them all. I mean, and I'm glad that you're going to be meeting Nico soon as well because he's an excellent hard worker behind the
Yeah,
scenes and a good actor and stuff. So he obviously edits and does some of our marketing stuff as well. I'll be excited for you to meet him because he's good. But along with the team, everyone loves working with you. And honestly, like if it comes further down the line and everything is straight, we would just love to battle for a signature or something like it was a football team. Do you know what I mean? Honestly.
I know. Listen, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like I said, everyone's been great on that set, and I've worked on some film sets where, if there's a couple of bad eggs, it can really make for
Nah, for
some
sure.
uncomfortable times. And, as much as we're joking about, having a laugh and all that, and, you would more rather, have to toe the line that way than,
Aye, no, for sure.
the opposite where you feel like you haven't laughed in 3 weeks, so.
Nah, for sure.
So yeah, no, it has. Everyone at Apple Tree's been amazing to work with, and
Yeah.
yeah, a testament to hopefully the movie as well when it comes out.
100%. And again, I guess it doesn't help when you're working with the likes of Daniel Commanda and stuff who are
Nah.
just so naturally funny. It's incredible. And
Yeah, no, it
just some of their
is.
scenes as well just crack you up.
It is. It's so funny though because you work with these actors who, their job is obviously to emphasize certain things, but there's some things that you can, and then like some gaff where there is some comedic scenes involved. It just goes to times 10, and it's just mental sometimes.
It's like how like Daniel was like he said he can be an ad libber sometimes as well, which we appreciate, but it's sometimes he'll hit out with something and you have to completely reset and stuff because like do you remember that time in the rain we were out at Blantyre and we were trying to do a tracking shot and it took forever to like get this tracking shot done, but
Yeah, I
it
remember
then
that.
got to a point that we were finally there and then
Yeah,
he hits out with this line. And then I had to completely cut the whole thing because I was uncontrollable laugh.
yeah.
And I'm like, it's like that's not part of the script, but it works so well.
Oh, I know it is. There was a couple of them, to be fair. There was a couple of little one-liners that it wouldn't even surprise me if you put them in because
Yeah, no, for sure.
there was some unscripted stuff that I thought turned out really well.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like it doesn't even feel like it's unscripted either, which
No,
is
not at all.
good for the movie. Do you know what I mean? Because if everything was just scripted, I mean, if your script's good enough, then obviously it'll work. But sometimes it can be a bit robotic. Do you know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
it's good to have like characters, actors just like kind of have their freedom. But yeah, man. So I would say that yeah, there's a lot of good to come out of Gaff for sure.
No, definitely, definitely.
So I know the answer to this question, but like we'll get back to kind of our love for filmmaking in general. But I'd like to kind of get through these. So obviously, your favorite movie of all time, if you would like to tell the audience.
Gladiator.
Yeah. Now, why Gladiator?
Everything about it.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a good score, to be fair. So,
100%.
and it's probably one of the best of all time. So, but it was actually my dad. His claim to fame was everyone used to always say to him that he looked like Russell Crowe when he was growing up.
That
So,
right?
my dad idolized Russell Crowe.
Uh,
And so whenever, there was a chance to put on a Russell Crowe movie, we threw it on. And obviously Gladiator was 9 times out of 10. But no, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I imagine trying to pick your favorite child, it's
100%.
you
Yeah.
you think it's one and then, a
Mm.
minute later you think of another one but yeah, I think Gladiator is always the one that kind of stands out to me.
Yeah. I mean, good villain as well, and like just the storyline itself, the acting. Ridley Scott as a director is just phenomenal as well. Like he's got so
Yeah.
much in his arsenal. So
No, it is. It's it's yeah, everything about it. Just like every box you'd want to tick in terms of doing a movie, obviously that kind of historical element as well adds another dimension to it. So you're obviously, when you're making a movie like that, you're kind of structured in a certain way. You can't just go off script and start, recreating stuff that kind of almost didn't happen. You like obviously you can, but you need to kind of certain, which I imagine when you're kind of making a film can almost help you direct that energy into what is needed it to direct, because kind of some of the stories obviously already taken care for you.
yeah, for sure. And like I mean, Russell Crowe, like if you look at his movies as well, it's actually like you forget just how many good movies he's made. Like
Yeah,
and like A Beautiful Mind, Cinderella Man, Nice Guys even was absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
LA Confidential. Do you know what I mean? It's like you just look at these and you're like, what the? How can you have like that many good films?
yeah. But I always thought Russell Crowe's one of those that if you see it, if you ever watch interviews or anything, or you watch him on Twitter or anything in real life, he comes across as quite a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
Like a guy that kind of can just do everything. He's
No,
almost
for sure.
strikes me as one of those. And he's obviously diversified a lot over, from playing comedic Zeuses and he's done the kind of full shebang.
For
So
sure.
but no, Gladiator is definitely his performance in Gladiator. I think there's that famous bit about him and Ridley Scott, isn't there? The first day they were on set, and he kind of told him Russell Crowe to look around as if he was looking at a bird or something, and he done it, and Ridley Scott just came up to him afterwards and went, "We're going to do well here," and that was the first scene of the movie.
Is that right? Aye.
Yeah, and that turned
I
out to
never
be
heard that
pretty
one.
true.
Aye.
Yeah, it turned out to be pretty true.
That's
So
class. I did you hear? I no. Did you hear that they've just wrapped the second one?
I did. Yeah, yeah. I saw actually an interview with Russell Crowe
Uh-huh.
about it.
Yeah,
Again,
he's
talking about how charismatic he is. He says that are you going to feature in it and anything? He was like, I'm dead.
he says I should be getting paid with the amount of times I have to answer this question.
Yeah,
Aye,
so that just kind of shows he's got that kind of wit and humor about him. He's. But yeah, I did. I saw they've just wrapped the second one, so I'm looking
yeah,
forward to it. I will keep my expectations low though, because I don't
yeah,
think very hard to follow something like that.
yeah. Because the way that I take from it is that so Ridley Scott, he's okay at sequels, but like Alien is a masterpiece in my opinion. Like as a film that I could watch over and over and over again. And then when I heard he was doing Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I'm like, right, okay, we're in good hands here. Now Prometheus was a good film, and I would say it's a good film. It's not a great film, and it's not a good film. It's a good film. Do you know what I mean? Like while Covenant was just a good film. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's kind of where I'm at when it comes to the sequel of Gladiator.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so hard though, following up
Mm-hmm.
these infamous movies, especially when there's a kind of nostalgia attached to it as well, because it seems to be nowadays that there's not a lot of new ideas out there at the moment.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of remakes, a lot of sequels, and especially when it's a movie that's came out in your childhood and you have a kind of, like I said, a nostalgia attachment to it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see it better than it maybe actually
Mm-hmm.
was, but then these new movies come along and it's very hard to capture that again.
No, I totally agree. I think that I've always made the argument that I'm one for originality when it comes to my own films and stuff. Like I try and keep as original as possible, but I'm taking a lot of inspiration from other films as well. But um, with when people are trying to say about Hollywood trying to do all these remakes and all the rest of it, I just say, do you know what? Just come up with better ideas. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's a film that came out recently called Night Swim, and it's like a horror film, like based in a swimming pool, and I'm just like, I'm looking at this, and I'm like, that's just set up for failure right off the bat. I think that's just like a money grabbing like kind of market now that you can literally just have such the simplest concept of something, and then they make sequels to like that crap movie 47 meters down and stuff, and I'm like, just come up with better ideas, man. Like it's like I don't think it's that hard. Like you've got some of the best writers in Hollywood right now. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then people are saying, "Oh, we don't have enough like kind of strong, badass, great woman movies." And I'm like, "Well, that's not true because Atomic Blonde was an amazing film, which is like the John Wick of
Yeah.
that kind of thing." And so was Peppermint. I don't know if have you ever seen
I
Peppermint?
never saw Peppermint, no.
Yeah, like again, that's a really good film. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, no, I think I mean, it does stand that, as time goes, it's obviously harder to come up with new ideas
yeah,
because, it's just basic, arithmetic that the more time goes. But, I do think there is almost became like you said, a bit of a laziness
yeah,
about it.
no, for sure.
And there's also, like, don't get me wrong, there's also, I think, a certain element where there's a lot of people trying to they basically got one movie to make
Mm.
it, and it's by hook or by crook, and sometimes it is better to go with the kind of safer option, so to
Yeah,
speak,
no, for sure.
than try something that maybe is outside the box. So, um, but yeah, I don't think there's I think there's plenty. I mean, there'll be something come out in 10, 15 years, and it'll be all the range, and you'll be wondering why didn't anyone come up with that idea 10 years ago? It's
Yeah,
just the way it
100%.
goes. It's
No, I totally agree. For sure. Like it's, and you know what? There's probably scripts stored out there that it's probably going to be the next big thing, but they just don't know when to make it. Basically,
well, that's the thing. You're obviously just off the back of the strikes, aren't you? The end of last year, so there was a
it's
lot of
true.
stuff kind of either canned or kicked down the road. So it'll be interesting to see now, that everything's been settled, that to see kind of what, the avalanche that follows now of this kind of year's worth of writing and movies that were put on hold. So it should be a good time to be, involved in the industry over the next year or so.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And obviously, there's going to be a new year of many different things, like the restart of DC and stuff. So I hope like I was kind of annoyed with how that ended because I actually kind of like the DCU, but because I'm a big fan of Zack Snyder, uh, but if it's for the better, then it's for the better. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that James Gunn has also done really good with Guardians, so we're in safe hands really for that. So I feel
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it's
I think DC was, there was obviously a couple of things that couldn't be elicited for,
yeah.
there, which you can never, and obviously off the back of the Marvel saga as well, that went about as perfect as a saga could go,
Mhm. Yeah.
I think it was always going to be hard to follow that up, with DC, and I know they were trying to do a similar idea.
And it's
Um,
now their opportunity to now go forward because Marvel are now, not doing too well at the moment either. So it's kind of they're still trying to, boost off after the Endgame into it, and
yeah.
like since then it's just been kind of like No Way Home, and well, there's still been some good films since then. It's just they're still just kind of struggling at the box office and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, there's obviously like the actor that was in Creed that obviously has went through some legal stuff. There was the Flash,
Yeah, it's
there's been
crazy.
a few kind of hits with it that obviously as a director, I'm sure you're just punching the wall for you finally. We were talking earlier about how hard it is to get all your ducks in a row for these features and, to finally get over the line and then for an actor to cock it up in some way, it's just, you must just feel like, Jesus, this isn't, is it meant to be?
Hey, well, Jacob Tyler, I've had to replace so many actors. It's incredible. The amount of people that say, "Oh, I'll be and I'll be well committed," and then I've
Yeah.
replaced my main villain. I literally had
Oh,
to replace
really?
my full main villain and reshoot all the scenes because
Oh,
he couldn't turn up
Jesus.
for one day just to finish off one day of filming. And I was like, I can't be arsed anymore. I was
Yeah.
just,
It's the hard part, obviously, with these independents, that a lot of the actors and stuff maybe don't have full-time or have full-time jobs and full-time commitments. And, it's why it sometimes does take a year, 2 years to make these movies because there's so many different schedules to work around.
yeah,
You can't just take everyone for, 7 months and just make a
yeah.
movie, unfortunately. Um, Although, like you kind of said, I do think the the landscape of filmmaking is definitely making it easier, in terms of equipment and stuff. I mean, we saw The Creator there at the end of last year,
Yeah,
being made with pretty simplistic gear, and everyone's knowledge is becoming a bit better, I think. And um, it probably won't be long before you can kind of really do whatever your idea is with a few committed people and
mobile
a little bit of pocket
phone,
money.
mobile phone as well, because you have the likes of Tangerine and stuff that you can, and Unsane, you can make full blown feature films on an iPhone now. But I feel like maybe in about 5 years' time, you'll actually have like everything you need in one camera now.
Yeah,
It's just crazy how like much it's coming into it.
no, it is. It's mental. It is absolutely crazy. I think animation's probably going to be the first one to really drastically change. I think you're probably going to get to a stage with some of the software now that, one guy can literally sit in his laptop and make a Shrek or a
Yeah,
Simpsons or whatever it might be.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
that I think will be the first one to really drastically change. And then, yeah, like equipment and stuff. I mean, some of the stuff you're able to do now with just a good camera, don't get me wrong, but a basic camera compared to what you would have had to spend, you know, hundreds of thousands on before. The learning curve is definitely getting shortened,
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, it's kind of yeah. It's like I mean, you see some of the AI stuff as well. Like that's like coming straight into the form as well. It's actually quite scary how much that could unemploy people if we're not so careful and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's it's crazy, man. This Peter trying to get involved in this chat. He's what's he say? Sony A7 CII wild value for money for video work.
There you go.
I don't know if
His little input.
I don't know. Once I'm finished with these questions, I'll get them on for 2 minutes or something. Um, Right, man. I've got another question for you. What's your favourite cinema experience you've ever?
I'll tell you exactly what it was. Star Wars Phantom Menace. I had
Really?
I had my auntie lives down in Dumfries, and I went. My mum dropped me off there. Obviously trying to kick me out of the house for a week during summer, and I spent it down in Dumfries. And on the way back, we stopped off at the cinema and went and saw Phantom Menace. And my aunt bought me the movie poster. You used to obviously get like they used to sell the posters at the cinema, and
Mm.
I took it home and I put it on my wall, and I was obsessed with that. It was it was Ewan McGregor, and it was a lightsaber cut his head in half, and it was yeah. So that's probably one of like a core memory for
Mhm.
me. And then I also then remember kind of I was the year I kind of going to see all the Harry Potters. They were kind of
Uh,
also kind of the big cinema trip, because I kind of the generation where cinema kind of slowly started to go out of fashion and get more
yeah,
expensive,
no, for sure.
and
Aye.
you kind of I remember LimeWire and all that stuff was around, so you could pretty quickly get the
My,
get illegally. It
yeah.
wasn't me, FYI. But yeah, to get so you didn't really have to go to the cinema. So it would only ever be like a really big film that I would go and jump to the cinema for.
Mm.
So it was usually one of the big blockbusters for me. But yeah, that kind of first Star Wars I'll always remember, purely because it got me back from Dumfries, which a week in summer in Dumfries was very, very bleak.
Good golf courses though.
Good golf courses, but I was very
Yeah.
young, so
Ah,
my short game was good, but my drive wasn't as good back then. So
aye.
it's great pitch and putt age 8 though. Tell you
Love,
that
oh,
much.
love that. I love the good pitching part. There's still one here actually that's just, aye. I don't know how it's doing actually, but
Yeah, well,
yeah, man.
we used to have one just around the corner from us here, and I drove past it the other day, and it's now like just a part in the park.
Aye. Yeah.
But you can still see where they had the greens and the
Ah.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
So so it's basically abandoned it now.
yeah,
That's a
it just looks
shame.
like a bit of the park with a few bike ramps now.
It's a shame. Aye, because I still believe in that kind of thing. I still believe like the pitching pots are really good to have for like the juniors coming up and stuff. So,
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
good that we still have it. But yeah, man, no, like man, it's true. Like I mind I went and saw Harry Potter, all of them actually when they all came out, and it was the best time of my life in the cinema. Especially Prisoner of Azkaban, that was my favorite out of a lot of them. But uh, at that time, it just seemed to hit different. But I think that's just because it's childhood nostalgia as well,
Yeah,
along
well, it's
with
like we were talking about when all these sequels are coming out, and there is a certain nostalgia attached to that. I remember when I was maybe 17, I had to get an operation on my knee, and I ended up buying one of those Cineworld cards
yeah,
that were kind of
yeah,
all the range for a period, and then I think they stopped doing them or they put the prices up because they realised people were taking the mickey with them.
aye,
Because I think if you went and saw like 2 films a month or something, you basically got
aye,
your money. Um, so, but I remember going to see some obscure movies at that point.
hmm
That was the only time really where I'd go to the cinema just to watch a movie, as opposed to before
To
where
be
I'd
fair, to be fair, that's still the case. Like with I got Odeon Limitless. I go all the time. I sometimes go myself. I don't really care. I just kind of go because like that's how much I'm obsessed with movies and stuff. But like I I love it, man. It's sometimes yeah, like yeah, unlimited as much as but especially if you've got a good month of cinema, you could literally like make your money back like literally within 2 films. But if you've seen like 6 or 7 of the films that month, you're literally it's crazy how like good it is. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You're saving
there's
a lot of money.
there's feet jumping up again, normalized solo cinema trips.
I, yeah, I mean, like,
I think the
I finally
difference, I think
came. Aye.
Yeah, I think the difference is you choose to go by yourself, Pete. I don't
Yeah.
think you have a choice in the matter, do you?
He has to wait for me to ask him. That's what.
Yeah, he sends out a mass Snapchat. Anyone up? Question mark.
I know. Anyone up? That was class.
Brilliant.
That was good, man. That was good. The missus wants.
Sent
The
to the No
missus
Way
wants.
Home 4 times.
I. But do you know, actually, there's a funny one for you, right? I took advantage of my wallet so bad that I went and saw, I went and saw Baywatch 5 times in the cinema.
I
Made my
bet you
mates.
did.
It made my
I've
mates.
watched it more than 5 times, I'll tell you that much.
We went, right? We went with, like, so we went ourselves, and then everyone, like, a part of our group, we always used to have, like, Limitless, right? And basically it's like, oh, I've not seen it yet, I want to go and see it. It's like, I said, Ross, are you up for going again? Aye, why not? Let's go again.
Yeah,
Third
there's
time,
nothing wrong.
fourth time, fifth time.
Five guys got to see Baywatch 5 times. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
I was, right, and people would think,
you had all corners of the cinema covered of it.
I was admiring. I went for a really sad period at that point. I was trying to get as fit as Zac Efron until I realised just like how unrealistic it was, because
Yeah.
like I didn't have I looked at the program and I had no idea like how you even start or anything. But I was doing it, and like I would do the workout, and I'm like, wait, I've got to do 6 days of this. There's no chance. Like now I can understand how you do it and that, but it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so cinema experience, brilliant. But like, if you were to choose one movie you would want to experience in IMAX, what would that be?
Probably right off the top, I've still not seen the new Oppenheimer, just because of the way things finished last year. They were so chaotic, and then I was away in Bali, so
Aye.
I never actually got a chance to go see it. And that's one that kind of I thought I'd love,
Aye.
to see IMAX experience. Avatar,
yeah. That was peak, man.
Yeah, that kind of that. I saw the second one actually. I watched The Way of Water on a flight back from Bali, but the first one, obviously, just there was a lot of kind of hype around it when it was released about all the VFX and stuff that had went into it. So
yeah,
that would probably have been one that I would like to go see. Yeah, basically anything that's kind of, I mean, they're all so immersive now, aren't they, movies? They're so, they're able to convey, you watch some of kind of the older films and you look back on them and, they're trying to either do some other world or some other planet, and it just seems amateur compared to what you're able to do now.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So yeah, I think probably one of those two, or something kind of along that line.
Yeah, funny enough, I've not seen Way of Water yet. I was gonna try and go and see it in IMAX, but I've got this big thing. I don't know about you, but like, and it's not good as like a film buff and all the rest of it, but like, 3 hours. It was like 3 and a bit hours as well, wasn't it? Way of Water. So
yeah, it's long.
Yeah, and the same with Oppenheimer.
It's great when you're on a 15-hour flight, though.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. When you've got nothing else to do, like I would definitely watch it. But like, I went and saw Oppenheimer with Liv, and my God, like I loved it, absolutely loved it. I said to myself, right, okay, it's over 3 hours long. Get your act together. Just sit down and focus on the screen for the next 3 hours. And it's going to be tough, but just make sure you are. And I absolutely loved it. Liv, on the other hand, she was like, it was good, but
it was good, but I slept 6 times.
Yeah. And she would probably tell you that now. So it's no, I don't remember that part. The thing
Yeah.
is, she was she's a big fan of White Collar, and
Oh, is she?
so we watched that with each other, and the detective, I keep forgetting, not Matt Bomer, the other guy was in it.
Right.
And obviously, and of course, as soon as she seen him, she was like
Ah,
that.
she's it.
Basically, just kind of looked at me. Basically, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it was it was good. You know, the cast was absolutely brilliant, but it's the fact that they have absolutely so many Detective Burke. She says it
There
right
you
there.
go.
There you go. And so much cast on it, but yet it's such a great, effective film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's yeah, it is. So I'm just wondering if Liv is going to get an invite to the next Baywatch sequel, though. See if she'll sit through that.
She would just stare at me the whole time, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe if Zac Efron's in it or something, she might get a bit distracted.
She should try and if she wants to make sure that she should come see Iron Claw with me.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, he's looking big in that. To be fair,
But it's actually quite a shame what happened to him with his accident and like what happened to his face and that.
yeah,
It's
I know.
crazy.
Yeah, it was funny when I remember when the photos first came out and everyone was jumping on it saying, obviously look at all the Botox and all that, and then
Aye.
it comes out that he's had this accident. So
It's like a life-saving accident, like a life-saving surgery for it as well, which is crazy. Do you know what I mean?
it's
It's a shame.
But yeah,
Real question is, how many times have you watched Wolf of Wall Street? I've watched it quite a few times, I must admit.
yeah, I'll keep my answer to myself there, Peter. Thank you. That's I think the real point is how many times have you watched all of it all the way through? Because that's probably once. So select scenes maybe a bit different. I'm talking about the one that gets slumped, so head out the gutter.
Just so you like yourself, yeah. That's brilliant, man. that scene is a masterpiece, to be fair. Like when they're on Quaaludes and that, absolutely brilliant. I was crying laughing at that.
Nah, the entire Wolf of Wall Street's just unbelievable.
That's a great film. Again,
Scorsese. Unbelievable.
Scorsese's too good as well, man.
Yeah.
Annoyingly missed out on Killers of the Flower Moon as well, which was another annoying thing.
Yeah, I know.
Really annoying, but yeah. So, last question regarding when it comes to favorite. Well, actually, quickly one. What's your favorite genre when it comes to film?
Ooh. Oh, I diversify quite a lot, to be fair. I would be inherently probably a bit of a sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
I think, but then I do love a good thriller as well. So yeah, but I'm a general just a good movie fan.
Yeah.
A good film fan. So if there's I would probably look to who's directing, who's acting before I would look at kind of the genre. That'd probably kind of determine what movies I go see and what films I go watch.
I think I'm quite similar actually. Like I specialise more in thriller. Like I think that's my favourite. But with as you're saying there, like I love sci-fi. I love dramas. I even love musicals if it's the right kind of thing. Like it's just kind of
The Greatest Showman.
I've watched that hundreds of times as well. Do you know what I mean? Like
that soundtrack is on repeat for me on the daily.
and Zac Efron again. It's just like it just attracts me.
Man. Exactly. Yeah, you've got a thing for Zac Efron. I'm getting to see that.
I did during my midlife crisis for sure.
Yeah, I know. The real reason for the Baywatch what comes out now.
Oh my god. I like how this is a serious and I'm just like making an absolute fool of myself now.
I must bring it out on you, I think.
But I think that my one of my favorite directors is obviously Steven Spielberg, and I believe the reason why I love him so much is because he could literally make any genre and still make a fantastic film. He's made musicals, he's made dramas, he's made sci-fis, he's made thrillers, and he's even made horror films. And he's just so good at it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the dream, isn't it? To be able to, diversify like that and try your hand at yeah, different genres. I imagine, it kind of gets very similar to actors in a way where you do well on one particular genre and you kind of get put down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and
I remember
people
reading.
mistake that for Scorsese, don't they? They keep saying that he's just a
Yeah,
gangster film guy, but look at Wolf of Wall Street, look
yeah.
at
I
Shutter
remember.
Island.
Yeah, I remember reading the Matthew McConaughey's autobiography, that Green Lights,
Ah, yeah,
and he
yeah,
was talking about how he literally had to disappear for 5, 6 years to get out of that kind of rom-com
yeah.
bubble that he was thrown into. And yeah, and until you kind of, I guess, get enough cash way behind you, I imagine a lot of these directors find it hard for someone to take the gamble on something else as well.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, they're making this like kind of point with Adam Sandler now that he's now all of a sudden making some very serious films, and like one of my favorite, Uncut Gems, was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah,
But
that
like,
was really good.
yeah, like
It
crazy good film.
was.
But again, like if you throw Safdie brothers in there along with Adam Sandler, you just know you can still. I feel like they could make a great film with any actor, but Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, Reign Over Me just proves that Adam Sandler can act. Even Hustle, I really loved Hustle. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I love a good sports movie,
Yeah,
to be fair, and
he's the.
yeah, Adam Sandler's done a few now that are really,
Aye,
even like Uncut Gems. It's like, I know it's not really a sports movie, but Kevin Garnett and all that in
yeah,
it, and yeah, he's really, and obviously Happy Gilmore as well as the
yeah.
infamous rewatch for everyone.
Like, he's had his like. I feel like he just set up all his mates for life with his own production, and then like made all these unserious films. Grabbing
Yeah,
so much at the box office, and then all of a sudden he's got these absolutely amazing films. All of a sudden he's like took his career. He's now going to be in the next Safdie brothers film,
oh really?
which is even more like cool. Like I'm actually quite buzzing for it, but
Yeah.
he's now in that. He's now got a film coming out called Spaceman.
All right, I've not
Yeah,
seen anything about that.
yeah, it looks quite deep actually, because he's basically just trapped in space with this like kind of imaginary spider. It's like huge, and it's like I can't remember who voices it, but basically, and Carey Mulligan I think is going to be in it as
All
well.
right, okay.
It looks good actually. It's going to be on Netflix because obviously he's done his deal with them. But
Yeah,
I
I feel
love
like
how
there's a new
I
Adam Sandler movie on Netflix every week at the
I
moment, I feel like.
like the do over and stuff the week off.
Yeah, he's got those, what are those, with Jennifer Aniston, those murder mysteries.
Liv loves them. Like
Yeah,
me and her watched that, and to be fair, like fair play to Liv. Like every time that I'm like, I've not got around to them and stuff because like there's so much like great movies I could be watching and stuff. Then I watch Murder Mystery and I'm absolutely pissing myself laughing. So like she kind of knows, like it's the same in music. She just kind of knows that I like a film or I like a kind of song and stuff. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah. Nah, it is. It's an easy
yeah.
watch.
And it's funny because he's like in motivational compilations now with his like speech and hustle.
Oh, is
And it's like
it?
yeah, with that when he's like saying the speech, it's like, you gotta think that you're the best guy out there. I don't care what hands playing. But I must admit, I cried my fucking eyes out every single time I watched Click.
Do you know when you were saying he was making, a bit of a hard hitter, I was thinking that scene in Click where he's crawling after the car
Yeah, honestly,
in the rain, that gets me every
I
time as well.
actually stream in tears every fucking day. And it's like, I know, and it's supposed to be like, because it's even like you're literally crying of laughter, right? What's it? Is it Sean? Is it Sean Astin?
And Click.
What's his name again? He's in Rudy. He's in.
Which one you talking about?
The guy. He's in Goonies as well. The actor.
Oh yeah, I do know the one you're talking
I think
about.
it's Sean Astin. I think that's his name. And he's like, saying to his boy and that, like, he's like, it's such an emotional scene. I'm crying my eyes out. And then he's looking, he's like, he gives it that one.
Yeah, it's Sean Astin. Yeah.
But that's a good
No,
film.
it is. No, it's a great movie. But
Aye. Right, last one. Favorite director.
Probably either Zack Snyder or Christopher Nolan over the past kind of
I didn't know
3
you liked
years.
Zack Snyder as much as well.
Yeah, no, I do. I really have. Yeah, I do. I really like Zack Snyder. It was probably the Justice League that really kind of got me going with him.
Yeah. The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, and then like talking about, obviously, I know Christopher Nolan seems to be kind of everyone's go-to at the moment. But I just think that like we were saying about, movies that you sit down and watch, ones that kind of have twists and turns, I think he does better than anybody else.
Yeah, no, for sure.
My girlfriend Meg just jumped on saying Peter Jackson because she's a huge Lord of the Rings fan, so I'll say Peter Jackson as well.
Well, funnily enough, I'll just say it quickly, but basically I asked you earlier your favourite cinema experience. One of my most favourite cinema experiences was actually seeing Peter Jackson's King Kong. And that movie, for some reason, really captured something in me. Like, I thought it was just a phenomenal film.
You saw yourself in King Kong, did you?
Like that, it's just like visually, but like I saw myself in King Kong.
That must have been after the Zac Efron diet, wasn't it?
I was 9 years old at the time, so give me a break. I know, and it's like, that is a phenomenal film, and obviously the Lord of the Rings is like so rewatchable. It's incredible.
Yeah, we're massive Lord of the Rings fans in this household here, so it's on. She can quote it word for word. And we went to Hobbiton last year, so that was nice. She cried upon entry.
That's class.
Bald arrives it.
All right.
We were playing Hobbiton in the car on the way into the entrance.
That's class,
a very fitting moment. Very fitting moment. She's probably hating the fact I'm out of her here, but anyway.
Yeah. It's what we do, mate. It's our job, isn't it?
Indeed.
Would you call it? I know. What was it? No, like that's class that you've mentioned Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan, because they're probably in my top 5 as well, at least. But Christopher Nolan, I feel like Tenet is a film that I'm starting to kind of warm up to. When I first watched it, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I feel like
I'm right there with you. It was a lot of his films are great, and that you can kind of follow along for all of it, and then there's something at the end that maybe it takes you a minute to kind of. Whereas Tenet, the first time I watched it, I felt like the entire movie, I was just like, I don't understand this here, kind of thing. And it's one of those, like, if you're not concentrating for like a 5-minute period, you're gone.
Yeah,
you're just lost. So you almost has to take like 2 or 3 times before the concept kind of works its way around. But it's still a great movie. It wouldn't be my favorite out of all his movies, but it's still, good watch.
Yeah. I mean, a great film that he made that no one really talks about is Insomnia. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Great film, honestly. But yeah, and again, if you think about it, like, he heavily produced Man of Steel as well. So again, another like ridiculous masterpiece in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I've got all of them. Again, I'll defend Batman vs Superman till the day I die, but the Ultimate Edition especially. But yeah, it's good to see that like our tastes are so similar. It's incredible. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, like it's good that I've not seen Rebel Moon yet. I will see that actually soon. I'm hearing very mixed stuff, but I'll be open minded about it because even
Yeah.
Army of the Dead when he came and obviously finally got his own kind of freedom with it, I thought that was really good as well.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. He's definitely had a lot of home runs
Yeah.
as of late.
And it's the same with David Ayer, isn't it? Because like he got the same treatment with Suicide Squad, and recently I went and saw Beekeeper. Oh my god, mate, you need to go and see that. It's so good.
I've not seen that yet.
If you're a sucker for like Jason Statham movies as well, like it's one of those ones, and he's just see his fight choreography and stuff. It's just phenomenal. You know that like just some of
Yeah.
the stuff he comes away with and that it's just brilliant.
Yeah, I was working on a film kind of the tail end of last year, and it was the first film really where there was some significant fight scenes. They'd actually flown a couple of stunt guys over from LA, and the guy who was choreographing it was Chris Hemsworth's stunt double, and see like the difference between just a run-of-the-mill fight scene on, a run-of-the-mill film and then something where it's professionals and you see what they're doing. It's just different class.
Yeah.
The detail they go into and the thought process behind every punch and every kick and every camera angle, and it's mental.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, I mean, even that new trailer for the new Roadhouse remake actually looks quite good as well. And it
Yeah,
obviously Conor McGregor's involved in it as well. And
I
obviously,
know,
if you've
yeah.
got like these legit MMA guys involved in these films, obviously you're going to get some good stuff out of it. Do you know what I mean? Because like you've got that level of expertise in it. But
Yeah, well, that was the case with the first Creed as well, wasn't it? When they
yeah,
brought Tony Bellew in to do.
phenomenal. I just love all three of those movies. I just love the Rocky franchise in general. Like it's in my top five for sure. But yeah, we
Yeah,
could talk about that all night as well. But yeah, man. No, like that's basically all my questions. But like regards to like the favoritism and stuff, if you want to just kind of end on this one, I'll say that I just want to. It's quite a one to think about, but like, what advice would you give to filmmakers starting out? Because obviously, for filmmakers and filmmaking, it's good that we can sit down and talk with each other with our experiences of being filmmakers and stuff. But for people that are so desperate to get out there, I've got my own advice that I try and give to people all the time and what they should be doing. Even though I'm still got so much to learn myself, my encouragement is to say to them, just start shooting something, just have an idea and just find a way of like actually getting a film done. Well, what would you say yourself?
um, I think there's so much that you could kind of tell people. Like I kind of came into this industry pretty late. I played football here in Scotland for best part of a decade and kind of, arrived relatively late. But what I would say is you need to be, especially nowadays with how competitive things are, you really need to be immersed in it. You kind of really need to throw all your eggs in one basket, for lack of a better term. I don't mean stupidly to the point where you're out in the street or anything, but I think in order to succeed at any craft, you need to really be 110% committed to it. And other than that, I would also say don't just do whatever, like if you're offered grip work, I mean, there is a lot of, don't get me wrong, a lot of cowboys kicking around, that will try take advantage of kind of young beady-eyed people. But at the same token, I think there's a lot of people that want to be directors, they want to be DPs, they want to be, kind of producers and writers and all the fancy accolades, but you need to start at the bottom. You know, you need to, and if you want to be a good DP, you need to work out how light works. You know, you need to work on a couple of grip departments, you know, work on a couple of camera crews where you're just changing batteries and, you know, work out exactly the nuances, because all these things will then be able, you'll then be able to, you know, write a better story and, you know, tell better camera angles, and you'll be able to do better things if you have the foundations, you know. So that would kind of be my advice, that you really need to know the industry as a whole. You know, don't think that you can just know camera angles and, you know, be a director. You really need to know everything, you know, nowadays especially.
Yeah, 100% agree. Couldn't put it better myself. It's like what I've realised myself is like I really wanted to just come into this industry as a director, but if you're working on a low budget and to like kind of make some of these films, I actually think you need to learn every department under the book, because there's stuff that you're going to be thrown into that, you know, you really have to do and stuff, and all the rest of it. And like do your research for sure, but also like you said, the commitment part of it is huge, because you have to get used to the long days of filming. And like, if you're not committed to that, if you like get fed up like even like a couple hours through filming, then you've already lost, and you've already kind of realised that it's not for you. Because realistically, I had to work 13 hours a day standing on my feet as an extra. Do you know what I mean? Like to get my foot like somewhere to begin with and stuff. And then I was
yeah. And I mean, you don't have to, like, I'm not saying for a second that, you know, it needs to be 24/7. Like, I know a lot of people that work in film industry and they go home and they don't watch a single film. You know, I mean, it's just some people are like that. You know, you get that in every walk of life. There's some people that play golf and they don't watch a single golf round when they're not at work, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're at work, you need to be immersed. You know, when you're there, you need to be there to, you know, to learn every day and kind of, you know, and then, you know, it's one of those where you know, the glitz and the glamour of the industry aren't the day-to-day of the industry, you know. And like, you need to be, it's, you know, late, long hours, it's early mornings, it's being away from home, it's, you know, there's a lot of kind of sacrifices you need to be willing to take. You know, it's not a 9 to 5 where you then just get to go home and kind of tune out. You know, a lot of times it's very stressful time. You know, you need to, you know, I've spoke to a lot of directors that say, you know, the actual making of the film's the worst part for them, you know, because it's too stressful during that time. It's just, you're just trying to collect the frames to then get out of there. You know, it can be quite tedious, and it's not all the glitz and the glamour maybe that from the outside looking in you sometimes see.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is that like you said there, like as a director, like you might find in gaff now that I can be stressed sometimes. Like you've seen it yourself, like I can be stressed sometimes, but for like, see, honestly, 99% of the time, I love film days. Like I could literally, like when it comes from morning till night, it's literally like it feels like time just passes you by so quickly, because you just because that's what you love doing, that's what you want to do. Like and you're having connections with people and networking with working with different people, and it's just such a great experience, isn't it? Like it's just awesome. Like and Peter made a good point here, saying definitely need to be thick-skinned. So I'm pretty sure you mean thick-skinned, but you know, always going to be someone who doesn't like what you're doing.
That must be the dyslexia kicking in, I reckon. It's no, you definitely have to be thick-skinned. You know, and that's kind of touching on before what I said was, you know, you can't kind of be above your station. You know, you need to. You know, film industries are hideous.
Continue what you're saying.
The Gucci hats on and all, man. I'm getting dressed for the occasion.
I'm getting ready to go.
But yeah, I think you need to be, you know, like Peter was saying, you need to be thick-skinned. You need to be willing to, you know, especially when you're working on a big crew. You know, directors are going to shout. They're going to, you know, ADs are going to shout for you to do stuff. Everybody can't be nicey all the time. You know, you can't take anything personally, because it is a high stressful environment. A lot of times, especially if you get higher up, there's a lot of money on the line. There's a
Yeah.
lot of, stuff riding on every single day, and, you're losing light, you're losing time, you're losing everything. And you can't be, tiptoeing around subjects on set, you need to be able to just take it and go.
That was me every single day on Jacob Tyler. Losing light.
The thing would be
14 hours, are you kidding?
I know. The thing with being thick-skinned is obviously yourself, Mitchell, have experienced that already.
For sure.
It being put off and kind of taking someone's word as like, well, I must not be doing very well, so I'm just going to give up at that point then. Do you know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like it.
I feel like that's the easiest part. Like, see some people that would, comment on your YouTube channel. It's so cheap, and I think that's just so hilarious that some people can say that. But some people that do harass you online and think they act like you owe them something and all the rest of it. It's not nice.
Oh, but there's plenty of them as well.
Aye, well, I've experienced quite a few of that, like last year when it came to gaff, but it's all good because the way that I look at it is that I've got a great team and stuff, and you have to, stick to your guns at the end of the day and just ignore it really, like, because people who are around you and that know who you are as a person, like compared to others. So it's one of those ones.
It's exactly just as you're saying, like Scotland itself, like in terms of independent production companies and stuff like that, you can't afford to be burning bridges with everyone you work with.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not enough people out there that will help before they start asking for money, if that makes sense. You just need to be, if you want to think about getting into film, you need to just be more open of doing things at the start for either an expense or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you need to get the foot in first.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because you can't come on and demand X amount of money when you've not been on a single set yet.
Yeah. No, well, that's it, exactly. You could get even deeper into that one.
Yeah, you can.
But,
that was a few shots fired there.
It's okay because those people are out of my life now. What do you call it? Chris, like, listen, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on for Filmmakers and Filmmaking. If you don't mind, I'd like to give you just a very, very quick call after this to give you an opportunity about something, if you're interested, man. But man, like, I hope you enjoyed it, mate, and hope.
Mate, thanks for having me on. It was it's past the Thursday night quite well. I've got traitors waiting for me now, so I need to go and get the dinner ready and
is that right?
watch traitors. So
don't worry.
That's my new
as
fix.
I said, I'll keep it nice and short, mate. So don't you worry about it.
No bother, mate. No bother.
Thanks again.
Right, lads.
Peter, thanks for the small appearance.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, your input was invaluable there at that Baywatch segment. I appreciate it.
Of course. Again, I look forward to seeing you guys both again very soon.
Yeah,
anyway,
for sure,
for
man.
sure, yeah, for sure. That JT premiere coming up, so
buzzing.
Yeah,
awesome.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, guys, thanks again, and I'll see you very soon.